Welcome to the Pantheon Parenthetical. My name is Lance Ash, and the topic/title/theme/keyword for this episode is Dick Cavett. Because Dick Cavett is primarily known as an interviewer, and in the new format that this show is going to take, in the latter half of the episode, I'm going to go into freeform mode, and that may include pretending to be interviewed by an invisible, unhearable person who may or may not take the form of Dick Cavett, or could be anybody really. Anyway, but for this first portion of the episode, we're going to stick to the topic and discuss Dick Cavett as much as I can. Dick Cavett had several different talk shows over the years. I don't think I ever saw any of them in their original broadcast format. I may have seen fleetingly one of his late 70s, early 80s PBS iterations, but I'm not quite certain about that. In general, though, I had a positive impression of him. He's in his mid to late 80s now, and it's weird to think that when Beetlejuice came out, he had a bit part in that. He wasn't much older than I am now. That's pretty weird. Brings up a good point, though. He strikes me as someone who was keen to get into show business in any way he could, and in any aspect of show business that became available to him. I don't understand that sort of mentality. I don't understand people who just want to get into show business. It doesn't matter if they wind up in a behind-the-scenes position or in front of the camera, in front of an audience. It doesn't matter if they're tap dancing. It doesn't matter if they're operating a camera. Recently, my wife showed me this cooking show on YouTube, and she said, "Do you recognize the woman who's hosting it?" And I'm like, "She looks familiar." It was Jenny Jones, who used to have a Oprah/Donahue type talk show. And so I looked her up, and she was one of these types. Just wanted to get into show business. And she took whatever avenue she had to take to get there. She was a drummer for a rock band for a while. She appeared on every game show that she could just to get her face out there. And I don't understand, doing half-ass magic tricks and folding balloon animals at Disney World. You know who you are. Just to get your foot in the door. You want to be a comedian, you become a comedian. You want to be a trumpet player, you become a trumpet player. You want to be an actor, you become an actor. I just don't understand. I don't know. Dick Cavett's late wife, Carrie Nye, who was an actress, I presume primarily a stage actress. I'm not sure about that. She is the source for the infamous quote by John Simon, the film critic, whom she apparently overheard in the lobby of a theater say, "My God, homosexuals in the theater. I can't wait till AIDS gets all of them." This quote by John Simon is not widely enough known, I know he's, on his last legs at death's door, but still, he is such a vile human being and such a crappy film critic that he deserves to be pilloried on his deathbed for his hateful bullshit. Now let's see, what else I have to say about Dick Cavett. The only thing that I know him well for is in the early 90s, he was the host and narrator of a series called Faces of Japan. I don't know if it was ever issued on DVD. I saw it on VHS. It was like, I can't remember how many episodes there were, but I checked them out from my local library, and I found it to be a very well done and fascinating series. Each episode focused on a different individual in Japan, in a different walk of life, different profession, and it was a fascinating insight into life in Japan. I know it's kind of dated now, but I really wish they would reissue it on DVD. Let me switch lanes here. I'm pissing people off by driving slower than they are. Let me think. There was something else I had to say about Dick Cavett. Supposed to stretch this first portion of the show out to 10 minutes. That is, dealing strictly with the topic at hand. I don't know how we're going to do it. I'm trying to think. During the second portion of the episode, I'll be making use of the pause function on my recorder more often while I'm waiting for my brain / the imaginary interviewer to come up with things to say, to prompt me to say something else. But in this first part of the show, I'm supposed to stick to the rehearsal, and the problem is I didn't rehearse very much concrete material about Dick Cavett. There's just not much else to say. Well, I guess we could skip ahead. Believe me, I'm trying to make these episodes entertaining to listen to. And I'm hoping that by increasing the length, it'll be even more entertaining for you. The goal is to slowly, organically stretch the episodes out to about 30 to 45 minutes. And thereby maximize the potential for not wasting time here on the stupid commute. But anyway, well, so we didn't stretch it out to 10 minutes. That's fine. Okay, this concludes part one of the show. All right, carrying on. In the future, I'll probably put in some sort of fake ad or something in between parts 1 and 2. But now we've reached part 2 of the show, and as I said, this is going to be a little more free form. You see, the origins of this whole pretend radio show find themselves in my basically lifelong practice of talking out loud to myself. I've talked out loud to myself in the car for years. I talk out loud to myself while I'm painting. And I remember being a child and realizing that I was talking out loud while I was playing with my toys alone in my room. I used to set up my toys on the floor in these elaborate tableaus, and I would talk out loud to say how they came to be in these poses, you know. And so anyway, when I first conceived the idea of this is the only thing I can do while I'm driving, is rehearse some pretend radio show, and you know, it's just talking is all it is. So that's where this all started. So the week was, I don't know, not that bad. I guess I should talk about something I've been wanting to mention for a while. Okay, I'm 50 years old, turned 50 a couple months ago, and a month or so before I turned 50, I decided to create an umbrella project under which I could put everything I do. All my other projects would fit. I made an outline so that I would know where everything went under the umbrella project, and the idea is to draw everything together thematically. And I feel that the changes that I'm making to this YouTube channel program parallel the ongoing changes I'm doing in my other work. Well, the cops are out lately. I think it's because we've got a semi ban on travel or something. No unnecessary voyages during this coronavirus emergency. And I think the cops are out more because they feel there's an added impetus. You know, they can pull you over for a minor infraction and then add unnecessary travel on top of that. You know, gives them an extra excuse to throw their weight around. But trying to avoid hitting the pause button on the recorder. If I do find myself confronted with dead air, I'm going to delete it by hitting the pause button. But then if I do that, I have to sort of mentally keep track of how much time has been paused, so I can add that on at the end. The goal here is a 20-minute program this time around. I started off with a 6-minute program because it was easier to turn into a video, would take less time, and then take less time and be easier to upload as well onto YouTube. But now, I don't know. I've got a lot more time than before because a couple months ago I moved my painting operations from my old studio into what was our TV room in the house, and so it's made it so much easier for me to paint. I can paint every day now. Before I was just painting on the weekends, but I like all the changes that I'm undergoing and the changes that I'm making happen. You know, I started having to wrap my left heel because it hurt so bad. I know nobody wants to hear about my feet. I don't know what other people like or enjoy. My tastes are so much different from other people's. There's a movie called Claire's Knee. It's a French movie from probably 79, maybe a little earlier. But it's very quiet and very boring. And it's my kind of movie. I don't know what else to say. I don't know how other people make it through the night, make it through the work shift. I can't stand my job, and I can't stand the wasted time of having to go to work. And so I put my mind in, by an act of will, I put my mind in motion, and therefore try to get something out of the work shift other than just a paycheck. Almost everybody else on their breaks and lunches, they either watch television or they look at their phone, but I don't. I sit there and draw. And I don't know, it'd be fascinating to find out what other people think of me. C.S. Lewis warned against wishing for such a thing, but I think C.S. Lewis was full of shit on a lot of things, so. Did you know that Aslan is Jesus in another world? And that, according to C.S. Lewis, on all other planets with sentient life, there is a form of Jesus. Might not take a human form. That might not be exactly accurate, but I don't understand this generation of British writers that all converted to Catholicism and yet continue to be drunks and serial adulterers. It's like, I don't know what it is about Catholicism that they find so attractive. Is it the fact that they can just continue to sin and it's okay because they say the magic words? I read Brideshead Revisited a long time ago, and to read it, just read the words on the page, you'd never know that the book is supposed to be about the mind of a Catholic or something. If you've seen the miniseries, you'd think it was about college boys dabbling in homosexuality. It's very strange. When I was about 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there, oh God, I can't think of the fucker's name now. The guy that was in Ivanhoe, the guy that was in Brideshead Revisited, the guy that was in Danger UXB, Anthony Andrews, is that his name? God, he's aged poorly, hasn't he? But when I was about 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there, I would have paid $1,000 to look like that. That was my ideal. To have that sort of boyish cuteness. I just thought, oh, if I looked like that, I could, I could have whatever girlfriend I wanted. But anyway, I think we've come to the end of the episode. I know this is meandering, but that's going to be the point from now on. The point from now on is that the first half of the show will be centered around a topic, and the second half will be just absolute gibberish. Thank you very much for listening.